I'm Hugo Slim and I'm a Senior Research Fellow at the Las Casas Institute for Social Justice at Blackfriars Hall. I've known the Dominicans for many years. I studied theology across the road at St. John's College, Oxford, years ago. And when I decided to do some work on climate justice and humanitarian aid, I thought it was a natural place to come to focus on the social justice dimensions of the climate crisis. And so I've come here to lead a project which is called What is Climate Humanitarianism? And this is asking the question about what it means for humanitarian aid agencies to work not in war, where they've been working largely for the last 30 years in wars around the world, but in a global climate emergency. So we have a couple of research assistants working with me. One is a moral philosopher looking at the ethics, what it means ethically to work in the climate emergency as humanitarians. Questions about should humanitarians be thinking not just about humans, but also about nature and valuing the protection of nature as well as the protection of human beings. We have also to think in this time in history about what we do if we are faced with massive human needs of millions and millions and billions of people, and what that means for humanitarian ethics. Do we have to adopt a more extreme ethics of survival rather than a more elaborate ethics of the full range of human rights? So there are big ethical questions around humanitarian aid in the climate crisis. And there are also important operational questions. There are things that humanitarian agencies have never had to do before, like work in chronic heat waves, work around forest fires, work with smog, and work with recurrent floods, recurrent storms, which are more frequent and more intense than we're used to. So we're trying to look at what it means to work with these new ethical questions and these new operational questions, and try and explore a sense of what social justice means for those people worst affected by climate emergency. So that's my research at Blackfriars. Another thing I do here at Blackfriars is I coordinate the Oxford Consortium for Human Rights. And that is a network we've built up over the last 10 years of about 15 to 20 US universities and community colleges whose students would never normally find a pathway to Oxford. And we bring about 40 students to Oxford 3 times a year to do 1-week workshops on different aspects of human rights. So this year, for example, we've done a workshop on non-violent action, civil resistance and human rights. We've done a workshop on climate crisis and human rights. And in a couple of weeks, we'll do one on new technology and human rights. So those are the 2 things I do at the Las Casas Institute for Social Justice. It's a wonderful place to be. It is full of people with deep Catholic commitments to social justice, working in different areas, and being attached to Blackfriars is a wonderful thing because we're also attached to a living faith community, and so very grounded in what we're trying to achieve here.